Hi, this is Janet Wakeland with RemarkablyCreated.com and the Remarkable Stampers. In today's edition of My Digital Studio Monday, we're going to go ahead and look at how you can create a very unique, personalized, wow, one-of-a-kind Facebook timeline photo or image for you to use on the cover. One of the things that I want to point out while you're looking at my Facebook timeline image right now is that in the left-hand corner, you will have your profile picture. So when you're designing that, you want to keep that in mind. One of the other things that I want to show you is mydigitalstudio.net. And thankfully for the project that we're working on today, Phil Porter, one of the web product managers at Stampin'UP, has already taken the time to figure out which template is best for us to use and the pixels and things like that that we will need. He's done all of the math, which is wonderful because math is just one of those things that I don't like. If you are new to My Digital Studio, I really encourage you to bookmark this page, mydigitalstudio.net. You will find hundreds and hundreds of samples, videos, a blog, resources, training, all kinds of wonderful things, and you yourself can post samples and things like that to this website. If you're somewhere between beginning and advanced, again, I still also encourage you to bookmark this site because here you'll be able to see the new releases of My Digital Studio every Tuesday. And again, very clever and wonderful ideas using My Digital Studio. So let's go ahead and open My Digital Studio and let's go ahead and look at what we're going to be doing. One of the things, again, that I mentioned is that you're going to be starting with the 10 by 5 calendar option. And you would do that by opening New Projects, clicking on Calendar, and then picking 10 by 5 as the size. It will come up looking like this, 10 inches across the top, 5 inches vertically, top to bottom. One of the things to note when you're creating this project for your timeline is that the top quarter inch or so, half inch, will not be seen on your timeline, and the same with the bottom. So you want to make sure that you don't put anything important in those areas. I personally like to drag, though, my cardstock all the way to the edges, and sometimes depending on what I'm doing, the leaves or whatever, all the way to the edges, just to ensure that I don't have any white spacing around that image. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's bring up a blank page here. In just a second. I have a feeling My Digital Studio is off visiting Pinterest, pinning away great scrapbook inspiration and digital scrapbook inspiration for me to use here. Come on. I know it's Friday. Tell you a little secret. Part of the reason why it's slow is because I won't tell you what take we're on for this video today. And it's like, you've told me to do this how many times today? When are you going to get it right? Here we go. Okay. So we're going to bring a square punch over to our work surface. We're going to left click on it twice. We're going to change our units from inches to pixels. And remember, I told you that Phil Porter over at Stampin' Up! Already let us know what it is that we need to type in. And the number that we're typing in is 851 by 315. And we're going to keep our proportions. And then we can just X out. And then the next thing that we're going to do is then we're going to go ahead and fill our work surface with this punch that we've created. So just drag it up into a corner, drag it all the way over, and all the way down. And now you've got your work surface to begin creating on. And you'll create on it just like you would for any other scrapbook page, card, calendar, anything else that you're working on. So let me show you just a few of the features that I added to my own personal one. We're going to start first by filling it with color. And Crumb Cake is my absolute favorite color in Stampin' Up! It is my version of the little black dress. It's my go-to color whenever I'm designing a base for a card or a scrapbook page. This would be the color that I would probably throw a fit over if it ever retired. Usually I'm really good about things retiring because I love new things, but this is one that I would have to have a funeral for. So let's go ahead and let's add the background. I created my own background paper by adding a background, and the one that I picked to work with on this one is I went ahead and I picked Good Grid, and let's open that up. And again, we're going to just bring it over to our work surface. You can double click or drag, it just depends on yourself personally. And I can do a couple of things. I can grab my edges and I can drag this around, or I can left click on this, and down here I've got inches, and down here I can go ahead and do 10.0 and my height as, okay, come on, 5.0, and I can have it keep its proportions, and it will look like that. Or I can go ahead and, oops, let's do that. Let's undo that for just a second. I want the larger grid image, so when I go ahead, I'm going to uncheck this. I'm going to make my width 10.0 and my height, come on, 5.0. And I uncheck the keep proportions because I want the larger grid. And so now I've got a box that's 10.5 that's going to fit my work surface. You can go ahead and we're going to change its color. I'm going to change it to soft suede because I want something that's just a little bit darker than the crumb cake. And then I'm also going to lighten its opacity then to kind of create a tone-on-tone effect. But if I had started with crumb cake, it's crumb cake on crumb cake. And it wouldn't quite work unless I had lightened the underside first. So we're just going to go ahead and lighten this up a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I just want the subtleness of the pattern to be there, just like that. And you can adjust it. So then we'll go ahead, and then the next thing that I added to my feature was I went ahead and I added my baker's twine, which I absolutely love baker's twine, both digitally and in real life. So we're just going to add that to our surface. And again, you can either drag all the way across, or you can left click on it and type it in that you want it to be 10 inches across. So you can work either way. Another really fun piece that I worked with here was down here as an embellishment, and it's under designer kits, and it's called Candid Frames. This was one of our recent new downloads available for purchase, and I wanted to work with the ones that looked like Polaroid. So with these, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to add them to your work surface. You're going to adjust them to the size that you want them to be, and then I'll show you how you add photos to these. Because as you can see through the opening, you can actually see the cardstock, which means that the frame is really just that. It is a frame. So let's go ahead. It's not something that you drop a photo into. Let's just go ahead and make that a little bit smaller for the purpose of us teaching today. And let's just slide it down. And let's go over here to my photos section. And I'll just pull this picture of my husband and I. Oh, I got the puppy instead. I'll just let that enlarge. And you're going to see that it comes into the size. And I'm going to grab the corner and I'm going to make it smaller because I want to maintain the proportions. And I'm just going to fit it into this box. And actually I'm going to kind of work with my photo a little bit. I'm not going to distort it too bad. Kind of just play just a little bit. And then what I can do is I can right click on it and send it backwards, and it will be behind the frame. Now one of the things that I can do is I can go ahead and I can shift them around and move them. You can also lock them and group them, and you can check out my grouping and ungrouping DVD for that. A couple of other features that I worked with is I went ahead and I worked with our different punches. And so my favorite punches to work with are our flag punch and our pennant punch to create these borders. And again, you can just size them. I'm going to give you a little time savings tip here in just 1 second. And let's just add that. Copy, edit, paste. I want to add a second one. And this one we're going to go ahead and shorten up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and bring in from the side just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and add our pennant punch. And I'll show you one little shortcut, and then we'll go back to the finished product so you can kind of see what we were doing. And we'll just add that. And I'm not filling them or anything. It's always interesting what size different things come in at. Okay, and for right now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the twine. So I've highlighted that. I'm going to highlight my frame and all three of my punches. I'm going to come up here to arrange. I'm going to group them. Now I can copy, edit, paste. And now I can simply just repeat my border by sliding them along. Or what I can do, it's just a little time-saving tip instead of rebuilding each and every one. You still can also easily resize them. We're going to come up here to arrange, ungroup. Notice my photo didn't move because it was underneath, so I did not click on that. I only clicked on the frame. And now what I can do is I can come up here and I can, remove one if I don't want it. Maybe I think it's too matchy-matchy, whatever. But I can remove it and then simply slide the other ones in. But it can be a little bit easier, but it also, for me, helped maintain the proportions and things that I had. So for the one that we created for my Facebook page, again, we used a really fun background, tone on tone. We used the candid frames. We used our various punches, and then we just went in and we started adding stamps. And then we added our text. And what we ended up with was this. With my current favorite, which is Summer Smooches. I guess I'm just really in the mood for that bright sunshine. And part of it reminds me a little bit of Disney, which is where we are headed with Stampin' Up! In just a week. So let's bring it up one more time so you can see it. And as it's coming up, I just want to thank you for your time and for your interest in my digital studio. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My email is janet@remarkablycreated.com. Thanks, guys, and have a great day, and God bless you.